Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're journeying north, past the sprawling forests and icy lakes, into the heart of Canada. But we're not here for maple syrup or hockey. We're here to uncover the dark, unsettling stories that whisper through the pines and echo in the empty city streets at night. From coast to coast, Canada has a rich tapestry of urban legends, tales that have been passed down for generations, each one more chilling than the last. So, dim the lights, get comfortable, and prepare to explore the scariest urban legends Canada has to offer. Let's start our journey in British Columbia on the winding roads of Vancouver Island. If you find yourself driving near the city of Victoria, you might want to keep an eye out for a woman in white. This is the legend of the ghost of Glimpse Reef. The story goes that a woman named Canista was walking along the shore waiting for her fiancé to return from sea. Tragically, his ship went down in a storm, and he never came back. Heartbroken, Canista walked into the waves and was never seen again. Now, sailors and drivers along the coast report seeing a spectral woman in a flowing white dress, her arms outstretched, forever waiting for her lost love. Some say seeing her is an omen of a coming storm, a warning from the other side. Moving east to the vast prairies of Alberta, we encounter a creature that haunts the desolate oil fields and lonely highways. They call it the loup-garou, a French-Canadian term for a werewolf. But this isn't your typical Hollywood monster. The loup-garou is said to be a person who has made a pact with the devil, cursed to transform into a wolf-like beast for 101 days. To break the curse, they must draw the blood of another person without killing them. Countless tales from remote communities tell of farmers finding livestock torn apart, or travelers seeing a massive wolf-like figure with glowing red eyes stalking them from the edge of the woods. Is it just a story to scare children, or is there a cursed soul still roaming the prairies? Our next stop is Saskatchewan, home to the St. Louis Light, also known as the St. Louis Ghost Train. Just south of the town of St. Louis, there's an old, abandoned railway line. For decades, locals and visitors alike have reported seeing a strange, single light moving along the tracks where no train should be. The light bobs and sways, sometimes bright, sometimes dim, before vanishing into thin air. The most popular explanation is that it's the ghost of a railway engineer who was decapitated by a train in the 1920s. They say he's still searching for his lost head, his lantern swinging in the dark. Skeptics have tried to debunk it, claiming it's just car headlights from a nearby highway. But scientific studies have failed to provide a definitive explanation, leaving the St. Louis Light as one of Canada's most enduring mysteries. Now we head to Manitoba, and specifically to the Fort Garry Hotel in Winnipeg, one of Canada's most famously haunted locations. Of all the spirits said to reside here, the most prominent is the lady in room 202. The story tells of a young woman who, upon learning of her husband's death in a car accident, took her own life in the room. Guests and staff have reported a plethora of paranormal activity. Imagine checking into your room, only to see the ghostly figure of a woman weeping at the foot of your bed. People have seen blood-like stains seeping down the walls, felt unseen hands touching them, and heard disembodied cries echoing through the halls. The hotel embraces its haunted reputation, but for those who've had a personal encounter, it's an experience they'll never forget. Let's journey into the dense forests of Ontario, to the shores of Lake Superior, where the legend of the Wendigo was born. This tale originates from Algonquin folklore and is one of the most terrifying creatures in North American mythology. The Wendigo is a malevolent spirit, a cannibalistic monster born from a human who resorted to eating another person to survive a harsh winter. It's described as a towering, emaciated figure with gaunt skin stretched over its bones, glowing eyes, and long, yellowed fangs. It's said to possess incredible speed and strength, stalking its prey through the northern woods. The legend served as a cautionary tale against greed and cannibalism. But many who have spent time in the deep wilderness claim to have felt an unnerving presence, a sense of being watched by something ancient and hungry. Next, we travel to Quebec, to the Isle d'Orléans near Quebec City. Here we find the chilling tale of La Corvo. Marie Joseph Corvo was a real woman who lived in the 18th century. After the death of her second husband under mysterious circumstances, she was accused of murder, convicted, and sentenced to hang. But her punishment didn't end there. As a warning to others, her body was placed in a gibbet, a human-shaped iron cage, and displayed for all to see. After the cage was taken down, it's said her tormented spirit was freed. For years, locals reported seeing her ghost, still trapped in its iron cage, haunting the roads of the island, terrifying travelers who dared to venture out after dark. Her story became so ingrained in Quebec folklore that her actual iron cage is now on display in a museum, a macabre relic of a truly dark time. Heading to the Atlantic coast, our next legend comes from New Brunswick's Bay of Chaleur. It's the story of the phantom ship of Chaleur Bay. For over 200 years, witnesses have reported seeing a magnificent three-masted schooner, fully engulfed in flames, sailing across the bay. The apparition is incredibly detailed. People claim they can see the crew on deck, frantically trying to battle the blaze, their screams carrying across the water. The ship appears most often before a storm, sailing silently and eerily before vanishing without a trace. Some say it's the ghost of a pirate ship sunk in battle. Others believe it's a vessel that fell victim to a terrible fire, doomed to replay its final moments for eternity. Whatever its origin, the fiery ghost ship remains one of Canada's most spectacular and spooky legends. Nova Scotia brings us the tale of the Dungarvan Whooper. The story is set deep in the woods of New Brunswick, near the Dungarvan River. It revolves around a young Irish cook named Ryan, who worked at a logging camp. Ryan was known to carry his life savings in a money belt. One day, the camp boss, wanting the money for himself, murdered Ryan while the other loggers were away. When the men returned, the boss claimed a wild animal had attacked the cook. That night, the camp was filled with horrifying, blood-curdling whoops and screams coming from the forest. The terrified loggers fled the camp, and it was said that Ryan's ghost haunted the woods, forever crying out in anguish over his murder. To this day, people who venture into the Dungarvan woods report hearing the same unearthly whooping sounds, a chilling reminder of a crime that went unpunished. Finally, we land in Newfoundland and Labrador, home to the legend of the Old Hag. This isn't a ghost story, but a terrifying sleep paralysis phenomenon with a folkloric twist. People who experience a visit from the Old Hag report waking up in the middle of the night, completely paralyzed with a heavy weight on their chest, making it impossible to breathe. They feel a malevolent presence in the room and sometimes see a shadowy, hag-like figure sitting on them. While science explains sleep paralysis as a natural state between sleep and wakefulness, the folklore gives it a terrifying face. For generations, Newfoundlanders have told stories of being hagged, believing an old witch comes to steal their breath. It's a primal fear, the feeling of being utterly helpless and at the mercy of a sinister force in your own bedroom. From spectral figures on coastal roads to cannibalistic spirits in the woods and haunted hotel rooms, Canada is filled with stories that tap into our deepest fears. These legends are more than just campfire tales. They are a part of the cultural fabric, shaped by the vast, wild landscapes and the history of the people who live there. They remind us that even in a country known for its politeness and natural beauty, there are dark corners and unexplained mysteries waiting to be discovered. So, what do you think? Are these just stories, or is there a sliver of truth to these terrifying tales? Have you ever had a brush with the unexplained in Canada? Let me know your thoughts and your own local legends in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the dark side of the Great White North, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more spooky content. Stay safe, and maybe keep a light on tonight.